Okay, we're going live. Got a live stream going. Internet looks like it's rocking on pretty good in the first 10 or 15 seconds of the podcast. Now, there's football on Christmas. Now, this kind of surprised me. There's been college football bowl games. I'm sure there's a bowl game somewhere, but there's NFL games. Maybe not surprising they're on Christmas, but on Wednesday. And I think Barry from our Big J Report Facebook group told me most of all these teams playing today actually played Saturday. So it's kind of like going from Sunday to playing on Thursday. But I'm not a big fan of Wednesday games. I mean, the NFL's taking Thursdays, Fridays. It's about having prime time games all the time and on holidays. There'll be a couple of games today. Jaguars aren't playing on Christmas. They're 3-12. I think Coach Doug Peterson's got coal in his stocking, and especially the GM Trent Baalke. Rumors I hear now is Trent Baalke will be. There's a big rumor that he will be retiring. Who reported that? Was it Sports Illustrated? I think maybe somebody from SI. Because either he's got to retire or get fired, or things just aren't right in Denmark or Jacksonville or anywhere. The Jags got to get a new GM. The new GM should make the hires and the fires among the head coach, not Shad Khan, the owner. Shad Khan certainly should have a say in who the GM is. Wink, wink. Les Snead with the Rams. Shad Khan. I repeat that. Les Snead with the Rams. Well, there's probably some kind of window where almost anybody can leave their job. You remember Coach Spurrier used to have a window of a few days after the season in January. Of course, the season is a lot longer than it used to be. Rams will be in the playoffs too, because last I checked, I think they were 8-6. Les Snead to be a great GM for the Jaguars. He was actually a pro scout in the early days of the Jacksonville Jaguars, going way back to the early days. He's still a young guy, and I think he's 53 now. So he'd be perfect age-wise. He can be the GM for probably 10 years if you were to get him. If you could somehow pry him away from the Rams, it could happen. Live stream going on. The Rams beat the Jets. Let's see, it was last Sunday. The LA Rams 19, the Jets 9. I think the Rams are 8-6 or 9-6 at this juncture. We'll take a look at the standings. First of all, we don't want you to wait on these Christmas Day games, NFL. I'm going to pick the games. I'm going to pick them. Got a little help from one of my sources, but, I'm getting some late information. I think all these teams might have played on Saturday. So it's like a round robin. Everybody, they're not playing the same teams they played Saturday, but they're all playing, but playing different teams. The NFL is amazing the way they put their schedules together now. So the 1:00 game on Christmas is Kansas City Chiefs at Pittsburgh. Now, give the Steelers an advantage there, a cold weather advantage. You play at Kansas City, you're going to see a stadium raucous, and the crowd gets into it, and it looks like the stadium is moving at Kansas City, at Arrowhead Stadium or whatever they call that stadium now. But today, it's not in Kansas City. It's Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Go with Pittsburgh, the home team. Kansas City covered, I believe, their last game. Well, the interesting thing was Houston was a 2.5-point favorite in Houston over Kansas City. I picked Kansas City, and Kansas City won the game 27-19. Do we expect a letdown in Pittsburgh? Now, I think it's going to be two teams playing hard. Kansas City, Pittsburgh's not afraid to go after the quarterback early in the game, and you may see that. Kansas City Chiefs at Pittsburgh. Kansas City's a 2.5-point favorite. I like that. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I'm going to take the Steelers against the spread. I'm going to take Pittsburgh plus the 2.5 points. That is a 1 o'clock kickoff in Pittsburgh. 1 o'clock kickoff in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day, December the 25th of 2024, right here on our live stream of the Till Shirt Report podcast. Got live from the pub with JC on our ticker. Want to make sure you check out Mad Max and the madmaxmix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights. Max, I think, is taking a day off during the holiday. He'll be back in early January with another Mad Max Mix Weebly.com on Wednesday nights. I think JC's going to be there this Thursday. I think. Like the cartoon said, I think. Good to have you tuned in. I decided to pop in here on Christmas morning, give you a live stream. Kansas City at Pittsburgh, 1 o'clock. Take the Steelers plus a 2.5 points. 1 o'clock kickoff in Pittsburgh. No telling how the weather will be in Pittsburgh. It might, if the weather's good, I'm taking Pittsburgh. If the weather's bad, I'm taking Pittsburgh. Plus, they're getting 2.5 points. KC's a better football team at home, I believe. KC is not, over the last month, I bet you KC's only covered the spread, what? Maybe one time in the last month, if that. Let me take a look at the last game. They did do it in the last game, and this was at Kansas City. Like I said, they're a better team at home. Kansas City 27, Houston Texans 19. Houston, for whatever reason, was a 2.5 point favorite. Kansas City, and we picked Kansas City. They beat Houston in the last game team. Pittsburgh, however, went down to defeat. I'm looking for their game. Yeah, they lost to Baltimore 34-17. So Pittsburgh is going to be looking forward. The Steelers are going to be looking forward to getting back out there. They've had a pretty good season. There'll be a playoff. And I look for good things out of Pittsburgh. The home crowd maybe gets them through today. I'll take Pittsburgh. Kansas City's a 2.5 point favorite in Pittsburgh. I'll take Pittsburgh in the 2.5 points. Kansas City at Pittsburgh's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Then at 4:30 on Christmas Day, it is going to be Baltimore to Houston. I'm taking Houston plus 6 points against Baltimore in Houston. So I'm liking the home teams. I'm liking the home teams on Christmas Day. So bear that in mind. You're tuned into the Teal Shirt Report podcast, brought to you by Salsa Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. Also by the madmaxmix.weebly.com and Lakeview for all the hits. Jaguars 3-12. They got a game with the Titans at home. I can see the Jaguars winning this game. They lose this game, they're probably going to get a top 3 pick in the draft. They win this game, they'll probably draft a little later within the top 5 or the top 10. Offensive line, I'm starting to like a guard, from Georgia. I actually am. I saw the guy interviewed, saw him play, but he's a strong guard, and he's about 6'2". I'll pull his name up for you to see it. I don't care where it is in the first round. The Jags need offensive line help in the first round of the 2025 draft, which I'm presuming it's late April again, 25. This guy looks like he's got the intangibles, and the Jags need a guard. Maybe this guy could play tackle too if you need him to play tackle. I mean, when you're about 6'6", seems like you could play tackle too. He's 320 pounds. Mad Max are like this. And let's face it, the Jaguars have drafted a lot of Georgia guys. Tyson Campbell was a great pick. Urban Meyer made that pick, not Trent Baalke. The Trayvon Walker pick was not as good. I think Trayvon's a second or third round talent. However, Mad Max, don't get too mad at me right now because I do like a guard out of Georgia. I really do. I like a guard out of Georgia. So I've looked him up, starting to follow the mock drafts a little bit, but um, well, there's a guard out of Texas that's being put a little bit too. Let's see, NFL draft. Let's take a look at some rankings at guard. Tyler out of Alabama. But I like the Georgia best at guard. I really do. And it depends on, some people are ranked higher and lower than others. Here. Okay. So I had then I had some other pundits, or if you will, so-called experts picking draft guys. I think it's a Georgia guy. I think the Georgia guy is the best guard in the draft. The top guards in the NFL draft. In my mind, I really do like the Georgia guard. Some of his film, I watched him in an interview. The interview was recorded back last August. I'm talking about Tate Rutledge. Guys injured probably one time or another out of the trenches. But I'm going to take the Georgia guard. Now there's a guard out of Arizona, touted in one poll, Tyler Booker out of Alabama. I honestly like Tate Rutledge, the Georgia guard. And I'm looking at one site, and I think this kid's put on 5 pounds since this one particular site looked at him. This site says he's 6'15", another site says he's 6'6", 320. Tate Rutledge is kind of the guy I'm looking at. And he could be the first guard off the board, might be the second or third guard off the board, but he's one of the top 3 guards probably off the board with Georgia. Tate Rutledge, remember that name out of Georgia. I kind of like that guy. And Mad Max, I know Mad Max is a big Georgia Bulldog fan, and I'm enjoying the coffee from the old coffee boy. Internet's running slow, but good. I'll do something on the screen, and 5 seconds later it shows up. And that might be because we're doing a live stream, perhaps. Appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you listening. We're brought to you by the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Mad Max's Wednesday night show. JC's Thursday night live from the pub show on Lake Eufaula Hits. LakeEufaulaHits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. I think I'm going to put, if I'm able to, and we're just, this is our first year of doing YouTube. We've been doing this podcast for 5 years on, audio streams and things like that. Let me go ahead and put all the sponsors up. We did start out with JC Live from the pub on our ticker with LakeEufaulaHits.com. JC heard each Thursday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, 6 o'clock p.m. Central. But I think what I'll do right now, we'll see if we can get all the sponsors up on the ticker. And those of you that don't watch us live, well, this live stream will be available to watch after we stream it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about here. I'm looking at the Georgia guard. I've seen the film on him. I've heard him speak. He may be the top guard in college football. The Jaguars need a guard. They need a guard. Check out the Mad Max Mix every Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, at 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I think Max is taking a break for Christmas, and his next show will be the first week in January with the Wednesday evening madmaxmix.weebly.com. So there you go. Let me put all the sponsors, Social Realty and Capital, madmaxmix.weebly.com, and JC's Lake Upala Hits, lakeupalahits.com. I'm looking for, is it not up there? We had something. Oh, here we go. Is this it here? I want to get all the sponsors up on the ticker. Merry Christmas to all of our sponsors. Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. Give us a thumbs up if you would. There's a thumb. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already done that. We've done some interviews with semi-pro football players that we'll be putting up, I believe, soon, depending on how things dictate. Here we go. I did find it now. Let's on the ticker. I'm going to change the ticker now. Teal Shirt Report is brought to you by Social Realty and Capital, the madmaxmix.weebly.com. Max has a Wednesday night request show. He'll return first week in January after the holidays. And, of course, Lake Upala Hits. JC's live show live from the pub on Thursday nights. I think JC's going to have a one last December show in Thursday, I believe. But check out JC. LakeUpalaHits.com is up and running 24/7. And again, Mad Max's show, even if Mad Max is not live on his show, but he's there most every Wednesday night. Keep in mind, there's music there. There's music programming all the time at madmaxmix.weebly.com and lakeupalahits.com. Great internet radio. You want to buy a house, sell a house. Remember, Social Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida and surrounding areas. And there's a link for Social Realty and Capital near our 24/7 North Florida weather information on our website at bigjreport.com. A lot of high school football state playoff scores up on the website too at bigjreport.com. And we check weather basically 24/7 on the website. We're taking the Steelers in Pittsburgh. We're going to get Pittsburgh plus 2.5 points. The KC at Pittsburgh game's kicking off Christmas Day at 1:00 p.m. Let's see, Baltimore at Houston, 4:30 p.m. kickoff. I'm taking Houston plus 6 points in that one. CJ Stroud plays a good one on Christmas Day. How about that? And that may about wrap it up for the live stream. Jaguars play the Titans at home. I'm not really concerned with the point spread in that one. I'd like to see the Jaguars win their fourth game of the year, but it's been a hokey season, dismal season, however you want to phrase it. The GM should be canned, and I believe he will, or he will retire. That's going to do it for the Teal Shirt Report podcast on Christmas Day edition. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Want to thank our executive producer, JC. Also, Alex Nunnery, another producer, and John Gaylor, who absolutely won the Teal Shirt Report podcast fantasy football league. Congratulations to John Gaylor, our contributor and correspondent here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And take advantage of the picks. The guy doing the football play, I had to remind him there were games today. We're ahead of the curve on Christmas. Merry Christmas to every one of you. I've got great memories of Christmas. I have seen difficulties in this world, no matter where you live. Here in the recent months, the recent last year or so. Pray. Keep me in your prayers. I'll keep you in our prayers as well. We're going to talk some semi-pro football in coming episodes too. This team is called the Florida Jags with a Z on the end. We went to their recent media day, did some interviews out there, so we probably will be bringing you some interviews, and they are really raw. And what I mean by raw is you're going to hear guys in the background. I believe we introduced introduce them all by name, and we're going to throw them out there, throw some of these interviews out there in a few days here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Gave you some Christmas picks. As far as against the spread, take the Steelers plus 2.5 points, and take Houston plus 6 points in the Christmas Day games. That's going to do it. The Teal Short Podcast. You guys have a great day. Thank you for listening and watching. And hey, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you from the Teal Shirt Report Podcast and BigJReport.com. Thank you to everybody watching and listening. Subscribe to the channel. That can be your Christmas gift to me. Subscribe to our channel. And again, give us a thumbs up. This has been the Teal Shirt Report Podcast, episode show number 72. Hey, you guys have a great day, okay?